Nigerians continue to express varying opinions ahead of planned nationwide protests as traders, warehouse owners fear possible attacks, looting. NEMA says 8 Yobe local government areas at risk of flooding. NAPTIP rescues 75, arrests 115 in Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers States. And on the foreign scene, police uncover 17 human skulls at suspected Ugandan shrine. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour tonight. I am Aisha Salihu. The planned nationwide hunger protests, scheduled for August 1 to 10, 2024, have continued to draw widespread support due to the severe economic challenges facing the country. High inflation, unemployment, and the removal of subsidies have exacerbated the hardship for many Nigerians, prompting calls for government action to address these issues. Trust TV's Dorcas Yakubu spoke to some traders and buyers at Utako Market, Abuja, on the upcoming hunger protest as the commencement date draws nearer. The report.
Nigerians across the country are gearing up for a major nationwide protest slated to take place from August 1st to 10th. The protest, primarily fueled by worsening economic conditions, aims to draw government's attention to critical issues such as soaring inflation, unemployment, and the removal of subsidies that have plunged millions into poverty. Less than 48 hours to the protest, often referred to as the hunger protest, traders and buyers are of the opinion that the protest is a necessary step towards bringing an end to the economic crisis bedeviling the country.
We want the protest to go on so that the government will hear us and do something about the high rate of things.
The reason why I wanted to hold is the inflation is too much. That is not how things being done. When you buy things in the market today, tomorrow you go back to the market and the thing will double times 2. At least government will hear the people and make the necessary arrangements, how things will move on, how the government will subsidize some things. At least when commoners come to market, they can be able to buy things. Tomorrow you will go to market and buy things in a normal rate again, not double it or high it more again.
Yes, I'm supporting the protest because our government, they need to do something about this. It's very important because they cannot see it. Even though they are seeing it, but they used to pretend. They pretend that they cannot see it while they are seeing everything that is going on.
I want the protest to hold because if we don't protest, the hardship we are facing won't be made known. People are suffering, especially traders like me that move around to sell. I'll sell perishable items, but I don't really care if they get bad. So long as our views are aired, but hopefully I will get to sell them. People are suffering from where I'm coming from. People have died because of hunger.
While some are clamoring for the actualization of the protest, others like Caesar are afraid the exercise may be hijacked by hoodlums.
If ordinarily the protest will be done the way it should, peacefully, under the arms of the Constitution, then I believe that the Nigerian populace will make their mark or impact or their grievances known to this insensitive government. But then, just like normally, the way these things happens, if not well controlled, it may be hijacked, and when it's hijacked, a lot of innocent people will start suffering unnecessarily. The
upcoming hunger protests reflect the deep-seated frustration and hardship faced by many Nigerians due to the current economic policies. With widespread support from civil society and socio-cultural groups, the protest underscores the urgent need for government intervention to alleviate the suffering of the populace. As the protest date approaches, the government, while acknowledging the public's frustration, has urged protesters to exercise restraint and patience. The situation serves as a stark reminder of the need for effective and compassionate economic policies that prioritize the well-being of all citizens. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, traders and warehouse owners at the Yankwali Market in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are expressing worries over possible attacks on the market during the planned nationwide protest in the country. Concerned by the development, The traders have engaged the services of vigilantes, neighborhood watch groups, and other local security outfits to protect their shops and business centers in the area. Ado Musa completes the report.
Many groups are calling on Nigerians to come out in large number to vent their anger over the rising cost of living and insecurity bedeviling the country. But traders in Jos said they are worried about the protests, explaining that hoodlums may take advantage of the situation to break into their shops and warehouses to loot goods and other valuable items during the exercise.
Actually, there is fear, because even yesterday I couldn't sleep because of the protest. Me and my ESCO, we couldn't sleep. We just have to come to the market and see our security arrangement because we are afraid of Monday, definitely. Though they were talking of 1st August, but we are afraid of Monday, this 28 or 29 today. We are afraid of it. So definitely we have to come and see how we can secure the market. Definitely we are afraid. And with the video clip we have been seeing, somebody on TikTok saying some bad things about Terminus Market and this and Enkwali and the rest. Is making us to fear.
And with our own security personnel moving around since from yesterday, day and night, we have mobilized our security, our neighborhood watch, our internal security in the market. All of them are moving around to make sure the market is safe.
They have talking of protests, but we ESCOs decided we don't want any protests in this market because of some certain unusual things like looting of shop, killing people. Many things will occur. Not to do protests be problem, but we don't want loopholes to avoid inconveniences. Coupled with what Nigeria look like now, we don't want it.
The chairman, however, said the police commissioner has assured them of security deployment at the market during the protest.
Actually, this early morning, we met with Commissioner of Police. The first thing he said that he's going to provide security to all our markets. We told him about the flash points because we have other places that we call them flash points. So he told us that they are going to put their vehicles with armed men at those flash points. He promised us to do that. So definitely, and we hope that between today night, we are going to see some changes by the police.
Police had on Sunday arrested one Suleiman Yakubu, following his call for residents to burn down Enkwali and Terminus Market during the planned nationwide protests in the state. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Ahead of the planned nationwide hunger protest slated to commence on Thursday, August 1st, some stakeholders in Kaduna State have unanimously agreed that even though there is hunger, poverty and insecurity in the country, protests may not bring an end to all the vices in the country except dialogue. The stakeholders stated this during a meeting with government officials, labor unions, religious leaders, youth and students group, as well as security agencies in the state. Trust TV's Bano Musa has more.
The calls for mass protests by Nigerian youths have been awash on social media platforms and have become a key talking point in the country. However, as the calls intensify, many Nigerians have started expressing fear that the aggressive call for the protest may result to mayhem. This meeting seeks to engage the youth to use dialogue while addressing their grievances. Kaduna State Governor Obasani says the government is doing all it can to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians.
The federal government and state governments have been unrelenting in addressing the nation's developmental and security challenges. The nationwide mobilization for protest is therefore unnecessary, ill-timed, and in bad taste. In times of economic emergency, all hands are expected to be on deck.
The organized labor and students' union also made their positions known regarding the mass protest.
We are not part of this national protest, because we have no any other instruction for our national leadership to do that. One might ask, what are our reasons? Number one, because we are organized, we have an identity. You know where to see us, you know where to find us.
If we allow this protest to hold and Kaduna State join the protest, the Federation will lose over 400 billion daily. And
political and religious leaders say, considering the volatile nature of Kaduna State and the many crises recorded in the past, which claim lives and properties, it is imperative for the youth to embrace dialogue.
Let us embrace peace as against violence. Violence will never take you to anywhere. So we're appealing to the youth.
What I think we need to do is, one, to engage the youth. Secondly, tell the government to try and alleviate the suffering of the people.
We know that there is poverty. For us as a church, we know that there is hunger. For us as a church, we know that people find it difficult to buy fuel and other things. But we want to say this and say it very clearly, that we say no to protests, not out of cowardice, but from an application of wisdom.
According to the State Commissioner of Police, Ali Dabigi, the command is yet to receive a formal notice of protest from any group.
Since the issue of this protest came about, we have been listening to people, and nobody has come to my office with such an issue.
At the end of the meeting, stakeholders resolved that protest is not the solution, as it may lead to violence in the state. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The federal government has called for calm on the proposed nationwide protest, saying it had created centers across the country where Nigerians can purchase a 50-kilogram bag of rice for 40,000 naira. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, disclosed this while briefing correspondents on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja, on Monday. According to Idris, the move was part of initiatives by the Tinubu administration to ease living conditions for citizens. He argued that there was no longer a need for the nationwide protest, since the president was already attending to the needs of the protest organizers. The minister cited the student loan scheme and the expected disbursement of CNG kits as part of efforts to ease the cost of living. However, he blamed unavoidable logistical impediments for the delay in the rollout of the CNG buses. Telecoms giant MTN has shut all its stores and service centers across Nigeria. This was coming on the heels of an outrage by some of its subscribers across the country after the network provider barred their lines on Sunday. In a viral video on social media on Monday, a mob is seen destroying a barricade fence just outside the MTN office. A large crowd of angry subscribers vandalized the telecommunications company's office in the Festac town area of Lagos State in response to the network blocking subscribers due to a mismatch in their national identification number and SIM registration. However, the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundain, in a response to the circulated video on X, stated that the DPO of Festac and his men had successfully restored normalcy and peace at the scene. The National Emergency Management Agency has warned that the 2024 annual flood outlook has identified Yobe as one of 31 states with high-risk local government areas for flooding. The Director General, NEMA, Zubaida Umar, stated this at the inauguration of the 2024 Effective Waste Management and Flood Mitigation Sensitization Campaign in Damaturu on Tuesday. Umar, represented by the agency's Deputy Director, Finance and Account, Aminu Ringim, added that Nigeria's Hydrological Services Agency forecasts that Badde, Jakusko, Yunusari, Gulani, Gaidam, Potiskum, Bosari and Karasoa were most at risk to flooding. The Northeast Zonal Coordinator, NEMA, Garba Serajo, called on the public to desist from improper waste disposal practices, particularly emptying waste into drainage channels. Serajo added that clogging of drainage systems due to waste accumulation not only exacerbates the risk of flooding, but also serves as a breeding ground for diseases, putting the well-being of communities at grave risk. And to health matters, authorities in Delta State say no fewer than 138 cases of cholera have been recorded in Warri, Southwest Local Government area of the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Joseph Onojaime, disclosed this on Tuesday while briefing journalists on the state government's efforts to curb the spread of the disease. Onojaime, who attributed the outbreak primarily to poor sanitary conditions, further explained that in Warri Southwest, where the outbreak originated, there were initially only 20 suspected cases. He also pointed out that low levels of hydrochloric acid in some individuals' stomachs increase the risk of contracting cholera. The commissioner noted that the ministry had successfully curbed the disease in 3 councils, adding that disease surveillance officers were equipped for diagnosis. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons has apprehended no fewer than 115 suspected human traffickers and rescued 75 victims in Akwa Ibom, Cross River and Rivers states. The zonal commander of NAPTIP, Emmanuel Auhen, who disclosed this in an interview in Uyo on Tuesday, added that during the period, NAPTIP charged 15 cases to court and secured 3 convictions, while 12 cases are still pending. The zonal commander appealed to judges to give special attention to human trafficking cases to serve as a deterrent to other traffickers. Auhen said coastal communities in the zone, which comprises Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and River states, are endemic areas of human trafficking, noting that several victims have been rescued in the coastal areas. He said the fight against human trafficking should not be left in the hands of NAPTIP and the federal government alone, saying the agency needs the support and cooperation of all stakeholders. Auhen advised parents and guardians not to let their family members deceive them into taking their children and wards in the guise of helping to train or secure employment for them, as most children or wards end up being used for child labor or prostitution. Police authorities in Lagos State have arrested 30 persons over the violent attacks at the Federal College of Education in Akoka, Lagos State. In a statement, the spokesman of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundein, narrated the events leading to the arrest. A team set up by the Minister of Education arrived at the school today to mediate the ongoing impasse. However, staff of the college, aided by students, attacked the team from Abuja, damaging over 5 vehicles and the provost's official quarters. But the school authorities have not commented on the matter. A new Interpol report has revealed that thousands of dollars are being smuggled out of Nigeria every hour. This illicit outflow is draining the nation's economy and fueling corruption amidst the prevailing hardship in the country. In this report, Trust TV's correspondent Sumaya Abubakar engages some experts on how the laundering scheme is being carried out and why it seems to persist in the country. The report.
The Interpol report paints a disturbing picture of Nigeria's financial hemorrhage. According to the report, thousands of dollars are flown out of the country every hour. The Interpol Vice President for Africa, Garba Baba Umar, said this illicit outflow makes the country more prone to fraud, drug trafficking, corruption, and other transnational crimes. Security and economic experts explain how this money laundering scheme is being carried out and why it seems to persist in the country.
In the financial sector, they looked at areas like our banking sector, where as a result of our inability, for instance, to implement fully the cashless policy, they additionally looked at the role the regulatory bodies such as the CBN, for instance, is playing on the banking sector and its ability to keep an eye on ensuring practices that are meant to sanitize the sector are followed. Monies move around in that shadow economy. Some would even say more than what moves around in the formal sector. There are avenues really for transactions that are not in any way recognized by the government authorities.
There's a limited supply of the foreign currency, in this case US dollars, in Nigeria. It means everybody is looking for this limited quantity. And so the price can go to anywhere because there are only few people that have what everybody needs. All right? And that is what puts pressure on our currency. And that is what makes inflation even go up.
They said the economic implications of this capital flight are devastating, spelling out the gravity of the issue on Nigeria's economy.
The long-term consequences is that it will continue to put pressure on the naira. It means that the chance of the naira getting further devalued will go higher because as it keeps going, there's little and little and little left.
Financial transactions in Nigeria are extremely higher. The insurance component that international organizations would put when they are dealing with Nigeria is as the result of that. And even travel, if you want a visa, name them, your credit card, the rating for Nigeria, it will be low and things like that. So the consequences are just so many.
Meanwhile, stakeholders say there is need for government to strengthen its anti-money laundering measures, prosecute those involved in this criminal enterprise, and recover the stolen wealth.
If they see the imminent danger it poses on us as a people and believe that stopping this betters our collective good, then we should put everything on the table to stop it.
Whether the government wants to or not, I think it has no choice. And I know they are committed.
With Nigeria losing billions of dollars annually to illicit financial flows, experts warn that unless drastic measures are taken to stem this tide of illicit funds, the consequences for Nigeria could be catastrophic. Sumaya Abubakar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Moving on to more stories. The Nasarawa State Police Command says it has arrested no fewer than 31 suspects for alleged armed robbery and other crimes in the state. State Commissioner of Police Umar Nadada made this known while parading the suspects in Lafia. Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
Parading the suspects, the State Police Commissioner Umar Nadada said apart from the armed robbery, the command also arrested other suspects for homicide, motorcycle and car snatching, as well as kidnapping, among others. Nadada said the arrest followed complaints of an attack by gunmen on a truck driver, prompting the police to swiftly respond and arrest 3 of the armed robbers. The police commissioner gave details of the suspects.
Number of suspects arrested for arms dealing, 6. Number of suspects arrested for homicide, 1. Number of armed robbery suspects, 13. Number of firearms recovered, 5. Number of ammunition recovered, 1,008. Number of magazines recovered, 5. Number of recovered rifles, 20. Number of motorcycles recovered, 4. Number of vehicles recovered, 1. Number of bag of rice recovered, 96. Laptops, television, phones recovered, 13. Total number of suspects arrested, 31.
He also explained that a vehicle that diverted rice sent to one of the states in the southeast was also intercepted.
Or called the trampoline and then carted away this number, 96 bags of rice. And they were intercepted when they were running away. One good Samaritan assisted the police with his vehicle.
Nadada said 1,080 ammunition, 5 magazines, 4 motorcycles, a car, 13 television sets, among others, were recovered from the suspects. The CP sought for continuous public cooperation for security agencies in their quest to ensure a crime-free society.
In Osun State, the police command has arrested a suspected cultist, Olatunji Damilola, for illegally possessing firearms. The command said it also arrested a man, Aderigbigbe Okpeyemi, for attempting to kill a commercial motorcycle operator in order to steal his bike. Hamido Egwade has more.
Olatunji Damilola, a member of one of the secret cult groups terrorizing Osogbo, the Osun State capital, was apprehended by men of the anti-kidnapping squad of the Osun State Police Command. The suspect said he is the armorer of a secret society whose role is to release guns to members of the group when the need arises. I am the armorer for the group. Whenever we have an operation, I would receive directive from Adigun on the instruction of our leader, Emir, to distribute guns to our fighters. The police also arrested a man, Aderigbigbe Okpeyemi, for attacking a commercial motorcycle operator with the intent to kill him and steal his motorcycle. The suspect also confessed to the crime. I hit the motorcycle rider on his head and took his motorcycle away. I sold the motorcycle to someone in Ikirun. Police arrested the buyer, who told them that he bought the motorcycle from me. The Osun State Police Public Relations Officer, Yemisi Opalola, said the suspect will be made to face the full wrath of the law.
We have been able to recover all the guns. We are still searching for other ones. They will be charged to court immediately we finish the investigation. You know that in Osun, no criminal will go unpunished in Osun State.
The police command assured residents of safety of lives and properties in the state. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The Commissioner of Police, Imo State Command, Aboki Danjuma, has condemned the attack and gruesome murder of 4 police operatives and a civilian by gunmen suspected to be members of the proscribed IPOB and ESN, and has deployed the command's tactical units to hunt the hoodlums responsible for the attack. The operatives were ambushed and killed while on routine patrol at Irete along the Owerri-Onitsha Express Road. A civilian was fatally hit during the gun duel. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, Imo State Command, ASP Henry Okoye, said on receipt of the unfortunate incident, the Commissioner of Police immediately mobilized to the scene for an on-the-spot assessment of the ugly incident, evacuated the lifeless bodies of the deceased and deposited them at the mortuary for preservation. The injured victim was rushed to a nearby hospital where he is currently responding to treatment. The Bano State Governor, Babagana Zulum, on Sunday distributed food palliatives and farm inputs to more than 35,000 households in Mungunu local government area. The governor also supervised the distribution of other items to vulnerable women in the communities. Trustee Beatrice Korutsi has more.
The federal government had, as part of efforts to address the rising cost of living and food inflation in the country, released 740 trucks of rice to states. Of the above number, the 20 trucks of the grains belonging to Bano State are already being shared in Munguno local government under the supervision of Governor Babagana Zulum. The beneficiaries received 25 kg bags of rice supported with cowpeas for farming, while 46,000 vulnerable women got cash and wrappers. Governor Zulum said it targeted the community because most of the people lost their means of livelihood due to insurgency.
And I also told you that 90 trucks of fertilizers were given to this community by the federal government, free of charge, in addition to the 20 trucks of rice that were given to us. I think they did well, and we have to commend them. In addition to this one, Bano State Governor has also decided to provide 10,000 naira cash to about 45,000 women beneficiaries, as well as a raffle to all of them. On behalf of the government and people of Bano State, I want to sincerely appreciate the support of the federal government. I want to appreciate the support of the Federal Minister of Agriculture in ensuring that this community, amongst others, in Borno State, have received the attention of the federal government.
The governor, during the visit to Munguno town, also inspected the ongoing construction of a nursing school.
Throughout Borno State, we have only one dental and eye hospital, state-owned hospital, apart from the teaching hospital. So the bulk part of the state are not enjoying the dividend of democracy. So government decided to establish one dental and one eye hospital each from the two senatorial districts, which is Southern Borno and Northern Borno. You have seen it.
Visibly satisfied with the level of work, he said his administration is committed to addressing manpower deficit in the state's health sector. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
At least 13 persons have reportedly died 1 year after the forceful eviction and mass demolition of their houses at Oworosonki in Kosofe local area council of Lagos State. I beg your pardon. Some victims of the forceful eviction who stated this during a 1-year remembrance of the incidents recounted their losses as well as the anguish they suffered since they were left without an abode. The report.
Speaking on behalf of the victims under the aegis of the Coalition of Victims of Oworosonki Illegal Demolition, Tololami Jamiu said that the mass demolition has resulted in the destruction of livelihoods, disruption of children's education, as well as loss of life.
Despite that 13 persons has lost their lives, including children and women, and despite that, we still have some of these victims still sleeping around in open shed. Some of them are beaten by the rain. We still have some of them which children cannot even attend to school anywhere. Because one thing is that they did not only destroy houses and properties, they also destroyed livelihood. Because we have instances where people have their houses and shops demolished at the same time.
One of the victims, Joshua James, lamented the hardship they have been subjected to and appealed for swift intervention from the government.
Should pay us our property. Our land belong to us. Whoever you think it is behind this thing, you should come and tell us exactly. We know how to deal with such a person. Because if, as I am like this now, whatever they think that they can do to us, we'll be there. We keep reciting, even inside the grass like rats, because they have turned us to rats now. Then our demand is that they should come and tell us exactly who did this thing. And they will pay us our land, our property back, then build us our land, because they must compensate us.
Those that they are demolishing their house, they were sleeping outside. They put men, they were sleeping outside. They were homeless. Some people are homeless. Even they cannot go to work. They've burned all their houses, on their goods, on their belongings. Many casualties. Many people died during the demolition.
Lagos State is denying the fact, Oba is denying the fact that he doesn't know anything about it. How could that be? That's the question we are asking. How could that be? Okay, who is going to be responsible? The MOE is denying the fact that it's a Ministry of Environment. They are denying the fact that they don't know anything about it. How could such thing happen without the notice of any government or the governor or the Oba himself? That's just the question we want to ask. And who is going to compensate us? We want our land back. There's nothing much we want our land back.
Victims called on the state governor to compensate and resettle the thousands that have been unjustly displaced, made homeless, and left without any property, and also visit families of the 13 persons that have lost their lives as a result of the demolition to ensure that their families are compensated.
The current economic hardships in Nigeria have affected every aspect of life. The institutions of learning that depend heavily on paper and other stationaries are exploring available options, but infrastructural deficiencies are more problems to battle with. Jimmy Azande reports from Makurdi.
The students and staff of higher institutions can hardly function without pen and paper, as well as other stationaries needed in their daily activities. Batemba, like most of his mates, is lamenting the cost of goods and services that have affected their access to these academic materials. They now rely mostly on soft materials which are accessible at an affordable cost.
The increase in the cost of printing now has actually made things difficult. I can say I always I print almost on a daily basis because I have my personal writings and then things in the department and other things as well. So, but now that things are really difficult, in fact, I find it very difficult printing as before.
Those in the business of providing these goods and services are also lamenting how the current economic climate has changed the perception of their trade. They are worried that the failure of the government to regulate the prices of goods and services is a risk to Nigeria's economy.
Before we used to buy, about 3 weeks back, we used to buy this at 3,600. It moves from there to 3,800. I will speak currently. The rim of 70 grams, which is the least paper you can get, is going at the rate of 4,400 from retailers. And if we, from wholesalers, if you go to any retail, you may get this at 5,000. That is the situation of our country.
For instance, we do print before a paper where a student will type and bring on his phone, we print at the cost of 13 naira. But because of the increase in paper and the ink and everything, the printing has increased to 15 naira. Some have even gone to the extent of printing at 100 naira. Photocopy, we were doing a photocopy front and back at 20 naira. But now we are doing a front and back at the cost of 15 naira. Some are even doing it at the cost of 17 naira.
An economist and university don at the Bano State University, Joseph Fefa, says institutions are finding it hard to function and that the digital facilities as are today cannot guarantee the substitution of concrete stationaries.
Some people are going digital by becoming paperless. But how many institutions in Nigeria can indeed truly go paperless? When you don't have consistent supply of electricity, which is supposed to be a basis for holding internet, and when you have the network, at what point is it even good? So transmission of materials online, which should be what is the ultimate thing as every other nation in the world goes, is becoming a problem in the country because there's no particular IT infrastructure that is embedded in the system to sustain the process of the use of online materials here and there.
The federal government recently proposed a student loan to aid students in their academic pursuits. It is left to be seen how this educational intervention will change the narrative. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Some residents of Lagos State have expressed support for the upcoming nationwide protest aimed at drawing government's attention to the prevailing hardship in the country. According to them, the protest is a welcome development that should secure the support of all well-meaning Nigerians as a necessary step towards addressing the country's economic hardship. Trust TV's Ajibade Awofesho tells us more.
According to the residents, the ongoing hardship has worsened, leaving residents with no choice than to reject it using any legal means within the reach of the common man.
No, because of the everything in Nigeria now is so cost. If you look at say even when they sell low, even when they work go, everything that's too much. Solution go there. If you protest, there will be solution. Because at least when we protest, government will listen to us.
Because the suffering is too much, and this is the way we can air our view. Government will hear us, because now government don't know what we are facing. So it now is a problem. Look at this. This is 2,000 something small cup. So we are hungry. People are hungry. When the government hear us, they are hungry.
Yeah, they should protest. So I believe that maybe the protest, God will help us, and they should not destroy. It's a peaceful protest anyway, but the way things are going in this country, people are suffering. There's hunger in this country. People are suffering. Like people are suffering and smiling.
Some residents who confirmed their participation acknowledge that the protest may not yield immediate results, but will help draw attention to the plight of the Nigerians, with the hope that government will take action towards addressing the hardship.
The market now, things are very expensive. How can Nigeria be buying one derica of rice, 2,000 something, just another derica of rice? To buy rice to eat is not easy. Things in Nigeria is too expensive. When you collect out of everything, what are you want to eat to buy? And I think our government is too wicked nowadays. That's what I believe. What we need now, we need to do this protest so that they can hear us nowadays, because we cannot wait again.
I don't think that the government is doing something that will make changes, but there's no changes at all. But people are complaining now. I don't know, maybe there is high price of fuel, there is inflation of fuel, but things are not even going well. I think that the government should begin sharp. It's not going to bring solution, because everything that I want to do is hand up with all those power, all these top politicians. I don't think that there will be solution, but you should just do it. Let them know that we are ready for them. Anything they don't want to do, you two are very ready for them. All right, thank you. Can't continue like this.
The nationwide protest against poverty, hunger and insecurity begins on August 1st, 2024. Many Nigerians await the day to express their grievances over the unbearable conditions caused by bad governance. Ajibade Abofeso, Trust TV News, Lagos.
It's time now to join Yusuf Akogu for the business news.
Nigeria's spending on jet fuel importation falls by 87% to 31 billion naira in the first quarter of 2024 from 239.18 billion naira in the fourth quarter of 2023. According to a report on foreign trade in goods statistics by the National Bureau of Statistics, this indicated that the product was among the top traded in West Africa during the period. Jet A1 is a kerosene-type fuel compatible with most jet aircraft, both civil and military, helicopter turbine engines, turbodrops, and compression ignition piston engines. Stakeholders in the cocoa industry have faulted the content of a bill on export regulations before the National Assembly, noting that it will negatively impact the business of cocoa beans export. According to the stakeholders under the body Cocoa Processor Association of Nigeria, the bill brought to the National Assembly by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAPTIP) will undermine the progress made by Nigeria to earn more from export of cocoa beans and contribute to the national GDP as obtainable in Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. Chairman of COPAN, Felix Olandujoye, explained that the proposed export regulations 2024 will kill their businesses because the agency lacks both the infrastructure and human capabilities to regulate numerous export transactions in the Nigerian sea and airport. COPAN is the umbrella body of manufacturers engaged in processing raw cocoa beans into cocoa cake, cocoa powder, cocoa liquor, and cocoa butter for both local and international markets in Nigeria. NGX closed Tuesday trading in red due to profit taken by big-capped investors. Leading the top losing equities today is UCAB down 9.92% to close at 34 naira and 5 kobo per share. Nestle Nigeria PLC closing on the negative side of the market, down 9.78% to close at 830 naira per share. Of course, Thomas Watt also down as well, 9.72% to close at 1 naira and 95 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged the market downward by 0.31% in terms of volume of trade. 399.385 million shares valued at 8 billion naira in a days of 10,447 did exchanges among investors this Tuesday. Of course, in terms of top trading equities by volume, Zenith Bank Nigeria PLC leader table there, 44.237 million shares it traded. Prestige and Insurance Company 25.613 million shares, and of course United Bank for Africa 27.254 million shares it traded as well. Of course, some equities ended on the gaining side of the market. Leading that table is ABC Transport, ABC Transport gained 10% to close at 77 kobo per share. Of course, Oando PLC up there as well, 9.84% to close at 24 naira and 55 kobo per share. Now let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil prices steady on Tuesday near its lowest level since early June, as worries about demand in China were balanced by a government pledge of policy measures for the economy and the prospect of lower U.S. crude and product inventories. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $79 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, price drops to $80 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogu, for the business news. Libya on Tuesday repatriated 369 irregular migrants to their home countries of Nigeria and Mali. Among them, more than 100 women and children. The head of the Libyan Interior Ministry organization tasked with halting irregular migration, Mohamed Bareda, said 2 repatriation flights transported 204 Nigerians and 165 Malians. Bareda said 9 babies, 18 minors, and 108 women were among the Nigerian irregular migrants. He said the flights were carried out in coordination with the International Organization for Migration. Libya has been criticized over the treatment of migrants and refugees, with accusations from rights groups ranging from extortion to slavery. Situated about 300 kilometers from Italy, it is a key departure point for migrants, primarily from sub-Saharan African countries, risking perilous Mediterranean Sea journeys to seek better lives in Europe. But with mounting efforts by Libya and the European Union to curb irregular migration, many have found themselves stranded in Libya. Away from Nigeria, 17 human skulls buried in metal boxes have been unearthed at a suspected shrine in the center of Uganda. Children foraging for firewood outside Kabanga village near Mpigi town, about 40 kilometers west of the capital, Kampala, made the grisly discovery on Monday, according to local media. Police said residents told officers they were metallic boxes containing what appeared to be skulls buried in a shrine. The regional police spokesman, Majid Karim, added that the remains were being examined to determine their age and sex, as well as when they may have been buried. He urged the public to remain calm, saying some residents had been left in shock. It is not clear how the skulls ended up at the site, but local media reported residents saying that people had previously gathered at the location to worship. Police said the suspected owner of the site is on the run, having been linked to a separate case involving the murder of a prominent traditional Baganda leader, entrepreneur Daniel Ebosa. It's time now to join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest in sports.
The 2024 edition of the Bauchi State Polo Tournament has been rounded off with Malco Mines of Jos defeating Dokaji Farms of Bauchi 9-7 to defend the Governor's Trophy they won in 2023. The tournament, which was among other things to encourage youth to participate in the annual polo event, especially beginners, had fans troop out to catch a glimpse of the competition and to also support their teams. In the final game, defending champion Malco Mines of Jos faced arch rival Dokaji Farms of Bauchi in a thrilling encounter. Some of the players expressed happiness on development at the polo games.
We won the cup, we won by many goals in the first match. So we are going to take the cup. So we are happy for that. It's not easy to play against Okanshi. So, but we try.
The most important thing for each and every polo player is to develop passion and love for the animal. It is very important. If you don't have passion, you don't have love for the horses, you cannot be a polo player.
Stakeholders also lend their voices to the development of polo in Nigeria.
The organizers of the tournament have tried their best. They make the pitch available for us to play and the weather compression. And you know, the mission of Nigerian police to participate in this kind of tournament is just to enlighten the public that police are your friends.
We have to make sure that we retain the trophy because we are going to be the defending champions. And we have to make sure that we inject vigor, dedication and determination in the way we play. Actually, I was impressed with the way we played, and I will make sure that we enhance our skills, our techniques, and our ability to defend that one and make sure that we retain it.
The Bauchi State Polo President, during the presentation of trophies, threw more light on the 2024 Bauchi Polo game.
Polo is a game of, they say, the kings of games. So it's not just anybody that will just come and join polo. But if you have the resources, we encourage you. We have a section for beginners, young people that are willing to join the game. That's why we play Beginners Cup. We're encouraging youths to come and join this game of kings.
Katsina will host the next edition of Polo Tournament in August 2024. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, that's about the size of our package on News Hour tonight on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.